Is the music too loud? I don't know if the music's too loud, because I've had this exact same problem before, where the music's too loud, and it's ruined the entire stream. So... should I turn the music down, or is it fine? Because I'm gonna be talking most of the stream. So... I'm gonna turn it down, I think. That should be fine. Anyway, let's just reveal the quality of this live stream. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Yeah. See the activate windows? See this Microsoft PowerPoint display? I was so ready for this. But I was lazy. So, I was meant to release a video on Sunday, or whenever, but I never got around to finishing it because I went to Oxford for the week, so, we're doing this instead. To my 3 viewers watching, we're gonna be looking at the MineZ wiki for every legendary item in the game that you can obtain, like, ever. Which includes, like, legendaries, event legendaries, retired legendaries, and PTR legendaries. And we're gonna be rating them based on how good they are in MineZ. Like, not by how special they are, by how viable they are in game. I think I just revealed my entire desktop. Whoopsie. Anyway. That was something I was gonna say, but I forgot. Oh well, it probably means it wasn't important. Let's just get on with it. Looking at this list, we've got average, which is going to be basically the same as any old item in MineZ. So average would be your diamond sword or iron chestplate. Basically just, you know, the regular tier of an item. And then we've got good, very good, bad, very bad. They're kind of self-explanatory. Useless is, yeah, that's self-explanatory too. And ridiculous is just really good. Like, insanely good. Now, a lot of the legendaries have changed recently. Gamble, notably Flail, and it's not on this list just yet, but Rabbit's Feet has also changed. So I know what the changes to Gamble and Flail were, but I'll need to look up the math for Flail when that comes up. So we're gonna go along this way first of all, and then this one, this one, this one. That's how we're gonna do it. I'm just gonna move my microphone closer to my face because this is a live stream where I won't need my keyboard, except for when I'm filling in the legendaries, because you'll notice not all of them are here. So I'll need to put in the rest of the legendaries once we've put all of these in their boxes. I did basically just steal this from Tier Maker, by the way, and put it in PowerPoint. It's just that the problem with Tier Maker is that you can't put in text. You have to put in images. So that's why I'm doing it. I'm going the difficult way, as you might say. So yeah, let's have a look at Corsair's Edge. Sorry, I was just taking a sip of water. So Corsair's Edge, it's an iron sword that deals 33% more to players holding a diamond sword. So, I mean, iron swords by themselves are bad, because diamond swords are average, right? Diamond swords are like insane PvP items. You cannot go into a PvP fight at somewhere like Hassa and hope to win if you don't have a diamond sword. And because we're in this diamond sword meta, that makes Corsair's Edge especially powerful, since it deals 33% more damage to players holding a diamond sword. So iron swords deal 6 damage normally, but if they deal 33% more damage, that would mean they're dealing 8 damage, which is 1 more point than a diamond sword. And because we're in this meta where diamond swords are so good, that would mean that Corsair's Edge is probably at least good. I'm not sure whether to put it at very good, because if you go into a fight where the other person doesn't have a diamond sword, then it is kind of an even matchup. It's skill based and, you know, based on your armor, because you'll both have iron swords. Corsair's Edge still counts as an iron sword if you don't fight someone with a D sword. So the question is, does it belong in good or very good? Personally, I think it's very good. Oh, I just dragged the whole thing there. Because 8 damage is a lot when it comes to fights. If you think that an iron sword deals 1 less damage than a diamond sword, and it takes an entire 2 hits less to kill a full iron player, you're talking around 8 hits to kill someone with a diamond sword if you have a Corsair's Edge. So that is pretty good. It's not ridiculously good because it's unreliable. The other person needs to have a diamond sword, but a Corsair's Edge will definitely help you out a lot if you're going into Hassa. Alright, the next one, Herta. Let's see. This is currently unobtainable, I think, because Mantle is closed. So what this does is it damages the player hit for 0 hearts multiple times per second. Okay. Basically, what it does is the Herta causes your screen to shake a lot. It basically deals a lot of damage to you really quickly, except you don't take any damage, it's just having the damage tick. And as Minecraft works, when you take damage, it will cause your screen to shake. So if you have the Herta and you hit someone with the Herta, it will cause their screen to shake, and that will throw off their accuracy a decent amount. Unfortunately, Herta is only a wooden sword, and it doesn't deal damage, so you don't have much durability, but it can be kind of handy to distract your opponent. It makes it harder for them to actually hit you because of the screen shaking, and because of the noise it produces of being hit multiple times, it's also a lot harder to hear what's going on around you, and as a result, it can be hard to hear if you're like taking damage from sword swings, because it's often good to know. If you can't look at your health bar all the time, you can usually get a feel of how much damage you're taking from the noise. But if you get hit by a Herta, that basically nullifies the noise, and, you know, it can be very confusing. And when you use it once, it basically just stays for ages. The effect stays for a whole 10 seconds. That's like a lot of time. So you don't even need to fight with it. You can just hit once and switch to your diamond sword. And that helps out quite a lot. Not as much as the Corsair's Edge, I would say, because 1 damage is huge. But, oh, I'm dragging the thing again. I'm thinking the Herta is at least good. It would be a stretch to put it in ridiculous. And I don't think it's quite on the level of Corsair's Edge either. Although, you can switch your sword. Well, I don't know what my clause is gonna be on weapons which you can just hit once. And, you know, then you can just swing multiple times again. You're only sacrificing one swing to hit a Herta. So I'm actually thinking maybe I could put it at ridiculous. Or very good. Because you only need to swing once. I mean, the effect isn't impactful enough though. It's got an impact, that's for sure, but it's not impactful enough. So I'm going to put it at very good, I think, because you know. Okay, I'm happy with putting it at very good. Just to keep in mind, this is all my opinion. So if you guys don't agree, then just please don't be offended, because I'm probably not correct in a lot of what I'm about to say. This is from my knowledge as someone who works for the wiki team and someone who has experienced the legendaries in-game. That, you know. So let's go on to Muramasa. So this is an iron sword. But it deals the damage of an iron sword. It has the durability of an iron sword. But, it has a chance to take away hunger from the person you're hitting. And I don't know if that removes saturation as well. But I don't think, like, a chance to take away hunger is impactful enough to matter in a fight. Most of the time you're gonna be swinging, and unless you get really lucky with the hunger that you take away, it's likely not going to mean enough, because you're not going to get your opponent to starve unless it's a really long fight. And by the time you're swinging all of these hits to slow them down, you probably could have killed them if they don't have splashes, so it is kind of a game of chance. I wouldn't put it at bad, but I think I would rather use a D sword over a Muramasa if I had the choice, so I'm gonna put it at average. The effect isn't bad by no means. It's not a bad effect. It's just that when you have a D sword, I think you would take it over Muramasa. So what have we got next? This is a fun one. We've got Robber's Blade. If you don't know what Robber's Blade does, it's basically a wooden sword that you can hit someone with it, and it will remove an item from their hotbar or inventory. But it doesn't deal damage, and it breaks after use. Now the thing is, this comes from Lost Thieves Guild, which is not only a really farmable dungeon, but it's also a really farmable dungeon that's really close to the south. So you could just sit down south and farm the Robber's Blade with no worries of getting killed, because no one could kill you if you're an iron. And no one would dare to go into the dungeon if you if they weren't experienced enough. The Robber's Blade has a chance to steal something really crucial to your opponent. It could steal their diamond sword, it could steal their bow, it could steal their sugar, it could steal their last splash potion. It could steal a grenade, it could steal a golden apple. There's a lot of good potential for things that a Robber's Blade can steal. So I reckon that since it's a guaranteed chance to steal something, no matter what, it's at least very good. And the chance that it steals something really good, considering, you know, people go to Hassa and have an insane inventory, I think it's quite high. So I think this is actually going to have to be our first ridiculous. Because if you steal a diamond sword from anyone, or if you steal anyone's sword and they don't have a backup, it's just over. You can get lucky with one hit and the fight will be over. There's nothing your opponent can do to fight back. If you lose your sword to a robber's blade, it's over. You just do not win that fight. I cannot stress how good it is to steal someone's sword with a robber's blade. It's just insane. And, even if you don't do that, you might steal another really good item. So, even if you don't get exactly what you want, it's still really good. So, I'm gonna put that there. Next we have Agni's Rage. Looks like 24 Marcel 24 is hosting a stream at the exact same time as me. I guess if he's still streaming after, then we'll have to raid him. I'm just trying to find more places where I can post the stream because we've only got 3 viewers. Although the reason why I do the live streams is not so people can come and watch live. That's a benefit, and it allows me to interact with the people who are viewing. But I mainly do it so that I can just pump this out whenever, and I don't have to worry about quality control. Because when I do my videos on Camtasia, I like to make sure that I like to make sure they're the best quality they can be. So by doing live streams, I don't need to worry about the quality, and it allows me to do really long things like this, because this is probably going to go on for a few hours because there's a lot to go through. So yeah. But Agni's Rage, it deals no damage, but it has a chance to set the person you hit on fire. I'm not quite sure how long that is, but since it's only a chance and you're dealing no damage, I'd imagine it's not actually that impactful. Because by the time it's taken you to swing at them, it does obscure their view, but you probably could have dealt some damage, got a few splashes off them, or even killed them at that point. And I just don't think it's that good. It's not useless, because you can get lucky, and you can get the flame off. But as far as I'm concerned, Agni's Rage is a very bad legendary. We've got Heal Sword next. As far as I'm aware, every time you hit someone with a Heal Sword, it restores half a heart to their health. So if you spam hit someone, then it can heal them up quite quick. Now, the thing is that that's deceptively good. You might think you could go into a dungeon and heal a bunch of people up, but since it's an iron sword, it doesn't have that much durability. And you can heal someone from 0 health to full. You can heal someone from full health to full, or from low health to full, in about 18 hits. That would use 18 durability, which is like, I reckon that's about maybe 1/15 of the sword's durability, or something around that. That's not very good. Because you can heal, it is basically the equivalent of, well, how many hearts would you heal? You would heal 125 hearts, which is the equivalent of, like, I don't know. I'm gonna look the...
Temple of our life, showing us visions of the future. So many faces left to find down in the caverns of our mind. Need you to follow me deeper. I will do anything just to make you see. Don't apologize for what's in your dreams. Maybe this time we'll be different. It's only us. It's only us. It's only us tonight.
I think I muted when, my mic fell off. I'm not sure. But just in case I was an idiot and, I missed off everything that I said prior to this. Corsair's Edge deals the damage of, it deals the damage of one more than a diamond sword, which practically reduces the hits you need to deal to a player with a diamond sword by 2 hits, which is a pretty big deal. Herta goes on for 10 seconds, and it makes it so your opponent struggles to hit you and struggles to hear when they take damage from you rather than the sword. And you can just use it once and then swap to your main weapon. Robber's Blade, it has a chance to steal the diamond sword or the sword from your opponent, which, if it does steal the sword and they have no copies of it, you just instantly win the fight. And it can also just take good items such as gapples, grenades, bows, etc. Muramasa is an iron sword that does hunger. But I think that I would rather have a diamond sword because you're unlikely to get someone to starve during a fight unless it's a really long fight and they're like a tank. Heal Sword is the equivalent to 30 potions, but it takes a long time to do and it breaks durability. We haven't got onto Meteorine yet. Grass Blade is basically an iron sword with wood sword durability. And Agni's Rage deals no damage but has a chance to set on fire. Woo! Okay. Whew. That was a struggle to repeat. I think my voice is actually gonna go by the end of this stream. I might actually take a break halfway through the stream and put the stream on pause for a bit. Just in case my throat begins to hurt, but... Anyway, we were at Meteorine. This thing is useless. Literally useless. Because it deals less damage than an iron sword, and you right-click it once to do this flashy thing where meteors come down from the sky. That does basically nothing practically. It's just useless. I mean, I suppose it's good as an iron axe. I'll give it that. Wait, actually, do I want to judge these off of their effects? Because if so, I would bring Grass Blade down to useless too. No, I won't. I'll put Meteorine at useless though. Because you can just basically go... Oh, I'll put this. Because these two are obsolete. You can just go anywhere and get a substitute for these things. You do not need to go to the dungeon or try and get these things in order to have something of equivalent use. These things just suck. The fun one now is the Gatestone, because if you've seen the videos, you know how good this is. This is a good one. No, this might just be a ridiculous one. Because what you can do is, if you're running from someone and you have a Gatestone on you, you can just run up to an end beacon, if you're fortunate, and just throw it on the ground and activate the portal and just run into the beacon and just disappear to another part of the map. You can teleport somewhere completely different and they might not even see you. They'll try to find where you've gone. They might not realize you had a Gatestone on you and you just escape completely. And if they try to go through the portal, you can lure them into a trap where maybe you have your friends gather around the portal and crit them all out as they come through. So you can do that, and you can also just use it to teleport around the map, because this thing has 8 uses. So it's not just a one-time thing. But I suppose that if you're doing it for a fight, then... No, I think that even if you're doing it for a fight, it's just really good. The problem is that it's situational. It relies on your knowledge of the map. If you don't know where there's an end beacon, you cannot use this legendary. The use of this entirely depends on your knowledge of the game. But I have to say, this is probably almost definitely a good, ridiculous. So, we now move on to Endeavor. It's a stone sword, and it deals the damage of the Corsair's Edge with a diamond sword. So 8 damage, 1 more than a diamond sword. If the user has less health than the person they're attacking. Now, you might think that sounds really good, but it's average. I'm sorry, it's average. because unless you're bad at PvP, this won't help you. If you're good at PvP, it's completely useless. If you're bad at PvP, it probably won't help you that much, because it only helps to bring you equal to your opponent. And I don't know, I just don't like this legendary. At first I thought it was a cool one. I liked the idea of having a legendary that deals more damage if you are lower health, but I don't think it's that good. It's average, I think. If this is one of the ones where I'm free to have my mind swayed. If you disagree with me, go ahead and say so in the stream chat. Because, you know, I'm not so sure. I'm kind of on the edge. Next one, Ipsy's Folly. When you right click, it takes away 5 hearts of damage from the user, and the players around gain regeneration 2 for 15 seconds. That can be used 4 times, as it's a golden sword and it removes 10 durability. So you can use it 4 times, but removing half your health is a big deal, and you're giving everyone in the area. So if you're in a fight, unless your group are the only people who are directly close to you, it won't help. Regeneration 2 has a heal rate of, according to the wiki, let's see. So you would restore 1 half heart every 1.25 seconds. So basically, you would restore 6 hearts over 15 seconds. That's a bit trash. Not gonna lie. That is a bit trash. Because, I mean, I suppose it's useful in dungeons if you have potions. It's not as trash as I thought it was initially. I had to think about it for a second. But if you're in a fight, it's just completely useless. It only really works in a dungeon situation where people are running out of potions. Good for boss rooms, I suppose. But you're putting yourself at risk. And it only has 4 uses. You know, it might actually fit into good. Because everyone in your team that doesn't have potions, if you are in the middle doing the plates and stuff, which put up the barriers, and your team are dying of the zombies and the pigmen and the wither, you can do that and sacrifice half your health, and then you only need to drink 1 drink too, or throw down a lingering potion, and your team will, over 15 seconds, restore 6 health. If you've managed to bring 5 people into the boss room, that is the equivalent of 10 drink ones across everyone from 1 use alone. So if you're in a group of 5, and you use Ipsy's Folly every time without wasting durability, you will restore the equivalent of 40 drink potions in 1 item. Now, that's about the same as the heal sword, but heal sword is less situational, and as a result, it's not as rewarding, because you've got to hit everyone individually and it takes a slow time. So since heal sword's here, I'll put this at good. It is a good legendary. Knight's Shadow. Now, has a 15% chance to give the player hit nausea 4 for 8 seconds. Only works at night. This is an iron sword. Now nausea is a very excruciating effect for some people. Some people just can't handle nausea. If you give them nausea in a fight, they probably won't be able to cope. And also it throws off your accuracy as well. Only thing is, it's not as good as a diamond sword, obviously, and it only works at night. So I'm going to put this at average, I think. And it's only a 15% chance. So every 7 hits or so, or 6 hits, you'll end up giving someone night vision, or nausea. So it's alright, but it's not great. Vampire. This one has a chance to restore half a heart to the person who's using it whenever you hit someone. So it's an iron sword, but I think it has a pretty high chance of healing you. So if you're getting consecutive hits off, even if you're sacrificing the 1 damage, that is really good. Because if you're in full iron, 2 hits from a vampire that heal you is the equivalent to 1 hit from your opponent onto you. So, if you hit your opponent 10 times, they will need to hit you 5 more times in order to kill you. So that's actually really good. That's insane. Because at the moment, I do think vampires have a 100% chance of healing, from what I've heard. So that would mean that it's actually insane. You will just end up killing your opponent before they kill you. So yeah, let's put that at ridiculous, I would say. Pluvius Storm doesn't deal damage, like Agni's Rage. All of the elite swords don't deal damage. But it has a 100% chance of taking away health or hunger. So it's like Muramasa, except it's not as good a chance. But the thing is that the damage on Muramasa means a lot. The damage is what makes Muramasa average. Even though you've got 100% at the time on Pluvius, it's not as good. Because the damage does mean a huge deal. So I'm going to put that at bad. Mass Immune, that is basically, I think that's just a worse version of Lone Sword if I recall correctly. Oh wait. Yeah, it is. Well actually. Oh wait, no. It deals no damage. Oh shoot. So it is just basically a lone sword that deals no damage. But it takes away half as much durability with a 50% chance. So it can either take away 5 or 10 dura. Now, Lone Sword is insane. I'm just going to say that. Lone Sword's probably going to go up here, in these two. So if you're hitting people, it probably doesn't matter. If you get lucky every time and lose 5 durability, then that means you are effectively, well, it's 1.5 heart, so it's not quite as good as Lone Sword, but it's still quite good. The fact that it deals no damage, though, might mean a lot. I'm going to put it down here. Since it is basically just kind of an arguably worse Lone Sword, I suppose. Tensaiga. That is a gold sword that basically does the exact same thing as Heal Sword. This is a gold sword, by the way. With this thing, it's 32 durability on a gold sword, or something. So you're restoring 33 half hearts, which is the equivalent to 16 hearts and a half. Which is... bad. That's 4 drink twos. It's very bad. Because... yeah, it just doesn't last long enough. Battle Sign is an iron sword, except it takes no durability. Because it's an item. So... first of all, the fact that it's a sign is really cool. It references, I think it's Tinker's Construct, the mod that has the battle sign as a weapon. And the fact that it deals the same as an iron sword is really good. You can farm 5k with this and not need to worry about getting a bunch of diamond swords, because diamond swords are a lot harder to get at full dura now. You can't just get 3 diamond swords, sit in a dungeon and do 5k. This will help a lot. It's not good at PvP, but it's good at dungeons. This thing will never run out. If you get stuck in a waveframe and like your diamond sword or something, or your smite sword breaks, which is unlikely, then this will help a lot. And it's good for 5k. I'm putting battle sign in good. It's good. It's not as good as Axis books, because Axis books have smite, but it's definitely good. Super Spooky Pumpkin. When the wearer shifts, players around the wearer gain nausea 11 for 5 seconds, and the message "you've been spooked" is displayed to them. You're not only sacrificing 2 points of armor to wear this, but you're also putting it on a cooldown, and you're only giving them nausea for 5 seconds. We put Night Shadow average because it deals damage, and it's a sword, and it lasts for 8 seconds. You wear this on your head, and you shift. That's trash. This is actually useless. There is no use of this. Besides, maybe, you know. When it comes to, I just lost my train of thought completely there. What the hell? But there's no use besides trolling people for this one. Flail. This is the one which changed. I'm going to look this up because the wiki isn't accurate. Dog Code Sharp, the dev of the MineZ game, revealed the math today as the legendary was changed today. So it has a maximum of 5 damage, minimum of 1. So it does 20 minus your health divided by 3. So if your health is 1, half a heart, then that means that you would be doing 19 divided by 3. But it has a max of 5 damage. I wonder if that's true damage. If that's true damage, then that means that's kind of good. Because if you're at 10 health, then that means that you're still doing a decent 1.5 hearts of true damage, which is still more than a diamond sword. So yeah, so it used to be better because you could deal that amount of damage at 2 hearts, or not 2 hearts, 6 hearts. But now you have to, you know, you have to get lower. So it's not as good as it was before. But if you're a risk taker, then it is definitely a very good legendary. It's not ridiculous, but it's very good. Like, true damage is a lot. If you think about how good Corsair's Edge is, once you get to, hold on, let me work this out. What is the 15 divided by 3? So you need to be at 2.5 hearts. So that's three hits away from killing you, but 2.5 hearts of true damage. Like, when you think about it, you can kill someone in 4 hits with 2.5 true damage, no matter what their armor. It's risky, and as a result, it's not as good. But it's definitely very good. Quiet and other legendaries aren't on the list because I haven't typed them in yet. Robber's Blade is S tier because if you steal someone's only sword, then that's just the end of the fight. And even if you don't, there's still a good chance you steal a useful item from their inventory. Most of the time, it's a win-win, no matter what. And if you're lucky, it can be a super win. So that's why I've put Robber's Blade so high. Okay, Kikuichi Manji. This is not a good legendary. It deals the damage of an iron sword, but it has a 33% chance to give the user or the player hit poison one. So it affects both players. But it's a wooden sword with wooden sword durability and iron sword damage. So it's immediately on the same level as Grass Blade, except with the added effect. Now the problem is it affects both of the people. So you can get lucky with it, but most of the time you won't. And there are better legendaries you can use. If you want poison damage, just hit someone with a Dentral's Fright or something, I don't know. Or Dentral's Terror. Like, there's no reason why you would use Kikuichi Manji. I don't know how Kikuichi Manji is pronounced. Because it was, as far as I know, it was named after a Japanese exhibit of swords, of like traditional swords. Not thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. I think around the 17th century, I'm not sure. But it was like a display or a convention of Japanese traditional swords. And it was pronounced Kiku Ichimonji, or something like that. So Kiku is split from Ichimonji, which is why I use that pronunciation. But anyway, let's move on to Overkill. Overkill is a diamond sword, so it has multiple uses, like over 1,000 uses, but it gives weakness 5 for 10 seconds when you attack with it. Now you might be wondering, that sounds really bad, but the thing is, it deals 12 damage when you hit someone. That's like double the damage of an iron sword. So, if you time it well, and your opponent doesn't realize that you have an overkill in your inventory, and you get them down to like 2 or 3 health, you can hit them with the overkill and just instantly kill them from 2 health to 0. And that catches a lot of people off guard. It's not as good in a fight, in a team fight, And if you fail it, then you're forced to run away, and it gives your opponent the chance to heal. You would have to resort to using your bow. That's a good point, actually. You can combine it with diamond swords to get a full Dura diamond sword. I didn't consider that. It's definitely average. But, well, I suppose you can still shoot. Alright, I know people use this. I'm gonna say it's good. It's not great, but it's good. Yeah. I'll put it at good. Simoon's song. Rest in peace, old Simoons. I can't believe what they did to this thing. Where is my vertical tension Simoon song, or whatever it is? It used to fling you up into the air, but now it just flings you really far. It's good for knocking people off canyons, because the knockback on it is completely nuts. But it deals no damage, and it gives you speed 1 when you hit with it. And you can hit your teammates to other players who are running really far. So it does have a lot of uses. It's definitely at least good. But the thing is, if you're going to the canyons, is it really going to make that much of an impact? I don't think it's impactful enough to be very good. I wouldn't put Simoon's Song on the same level as Corsair's Edge, because it's very situational. But it's definitely above average. It's a good legendary. Let's go on to Dentral Sphere. Wait, what? 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 Huh? Nani? Why are there 2 heal swords? Did I miss something? I've got Agni's Rage, Plivia's, Theorem's, Simoon's. Did I miss something? Whoopsie! Okay. Anyway, Dentral Sphere. Let's just have a sip of water before I go on. Although it doesn't sound like it, my throat is in complete agony from talking so much. I haven't put the bows on yet, but Dentral Sphere deals no damage, but has a chance to give, I think it's blindness and poison. No, poison and nausea for 3 seconds. It deals no damage though. Now poison 2 only deals about 1/2 of damage. That is really trash. Especially considering it's a percentage chance. That is really trash. Yeah, that's really trash. Because at least the Agni's Rage Fire lasts long enough to be an impactful thing. Poison 2 only deals like 1.5 heart of damage. So, you're not even guaranteed to get the poison, and you would rather just have a diamond sword. There's no reason why you would use this. Absolutely no reason. It doesn't even cause you to kill someone. Yeah, I suppose it does slow someone down. But if you really wanted to slow someone down, then surely there are other ways to do it, like slow bow, binding bow, rocksteady, binding helmet, Gorgon's gaze, I think. Yeah. I suppose it's not as good. as Agni, but given that it can slow people down because of the poison tick, and you know, it does become hard to fight people in nausea, although the nausea doesn't last long to make much of an impact, I'll put it at very bad. It's borderline useless. So close to useless. But I'm not going to put it there. This thing. Phantom Blade. Oh, this is a good legendary. Because even though it's an iron sword, if you have someone on the run and you're using a Phantom Blade, they just cannot escape you. Because it pulls you in their direction if you get a lucky hit. They just can't escape you. There is no escaping someone with a Phantom Blade. Even if you have speed, even if you have sugar, you will not escape someone with a Phantom Blade. That's why this thing belongs in very good. Because if someone doesn't want to fight you, they have no choice if you have a Phantom Blade and you catch up to them. All they need to do is get close enough to hit you. And if you don't have the gear advantage, if you don't want to fight them, you're just dead. So I'm not going to put it at ridiculous. I'm not going to put it at ridiculous. But it is very good. Now, Zombie Smacker. Deals no damage to players, but inflicts a semi-powerful knockback effect on zombies hit. I swear they made this legendary just for PTR's sake. Honestly, this thing just doesn't need to exist. Why would you want to hit someone with... Or why would you want to hit a zombie with this? It deals no damage to players. It only works on zombies. Why not just attack a zombie with a regular sword? This is obsolete. It's useless. There's no reason to use this. This thing, this Zombie Smacker, is probably the worst legendary in the entire game. It's just terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. It just sucks. Mjolnir. Summons a bolt of lightning where right-clicked at the cost of 100 durability. Has a 10-second cooldown. It's an iron axe, so it has 3 uses if you want to use it that way. Think of it as like a point-and-click damage. If you're chasing someone with a Mjolnir, you have the point-and-click damage without having to aim a bow or anything, and you can just smite them for like 2 true damage, because I'm pretty sure it does do true damage, the Mjolnir. Obviously not when you hit someone with it, but yeah, and it doubles as a axe as well. So I'm going to have to say, because of the true damage that you might be able to get and the 3 uses of the lightning strike, Mjolnir is an average legendary. Because it only has 3 uses. Well, actually, point and click is really good. It's good. It's good. On the low end of good, but it's good. Because true damage is always good. And point and click just makes it so much better. It would be average if it weren't for the point and click. We are on to the last row. First off, we have Gamble. Gamble received a nerf recently, which made it so, has a 50% chance to deal true damage to both players. So if it doesn't deal true damage to you, it does it to the person you're attacking. But you'll take more damage than your opponent does if you get unlucky. So therefore, it is a gamble, as the name suggests. And it's only really good if you're chasing someone. It is a huge risk legendary. It works well with a flail, but it's not something that you would really want to use. anything around this level, you would not dream of taking to Hasser or to a dungeon or anything. They're just not useful for dungeons or PvP. You wouldn't take them to serious PvP. You'd take them to events or something. Gamble is not useless. You would take this to Hasser. But in rare cases. It belongs in bad with Simon or Pluvia Storm. But it's got a nice gimmick, but it's just not good enough. Lone Sword. It needs no introduction. It's just it's so good. It doubles as a sword. It doubles as the equivalent of 25 splash ones, and it heals the equivalent of like how many hearts? 50 hearts worth of damage over time. And it works instantly. You can have this in your hotbar, and it basically does just serve as a splash potion that you don't need to reset. Obviously it does have the cooldown, and that does bring it down. It's probably the lowest legendary in the ridiculous category, but it is so good. Lone Sword is necessary. It's just so... Oh, I just hit my mic. But Lone Sword is just so easily obtainable that it's just necessary for every kind of event. For PvP, for dungeons, for whatever. You want to have a Lone Sword on you at all times. It's just so good. It's just really good. There's not really much more to say. It is just really good. Let's have a look at Peace. Okay. I'm actually going to change the music, because I just realized that we're not on NCS Uplifting anymore. So we've just been playing a load of music which probably isn't advertised in the description. That's a yikes. Let's change that. Wait, that's... Yeah. Okay. Peace. Now, from my personal experience, this is a good legendary. It's a diamond sword, and it has a 33% chance to give the user or the player hit, weakness 3, for 3 seconds. You're taking yourself out the fight, but you're also taking your opponent out the fight as well. If you get the weakness, it doesn't matter, because you can still swing the piece at the enemy, and you can still give them weakness. And that's really good, especially if you're in a team fight, because it reduces the damage that both people take, and it might cause people to abruptly splash or do something they might not do. And if you give the person you're attacking weakness, your teammate can come in, even if you have weakness, and finish them off, and they can't fight back. They can't do anything about it. So it's at least a good, especially since it's a diamond sword. I don't think it's very good. Personally, I wouldn't take it to Hatter. It's too... Or actually, would I take a piece to Hatter? Well, I know I would take a Simoon song. Alright. Simoon's song is in this tier. I'll put it here. Okay. Oh, I'm about to knock my microphone again. We are on Theorem's Strength. My favorite legendary, besides the Shaman's Lone Sword. This is a good legendary. I mean, personally, I don't think it's very good. Because you need to hit people a lot. But you can break someone's armor with it after a bunch of hits, and they can't fight you back. Because if they don't have another set of armor, which people just don't carry extra sets these days, then they just quick drop. And even if they have splashes, they just drop. So it's definitely good. But it takes a lot of hits to pull off. You know, I'm actually going to put this at very good. Because you can use it whenever you're in a fight with someone. And you can just break their armor. And if you manage to actually break their armor, because it reduces their armor dura by 25%, you can just kill them once it breaks. And even if you die, your team just, your team just can't die to them because you've broken their armor enough so that they can just do the cleanup. So, whee, that's prone. I'm having a look over this, and I'm wondering, should I raise some of these legendaries, like Simon's Song? And then should I lower... No, not Robber's Blade. Robber's Blade belongs in S, definitely. But once I put these ones in, I'm going to just check over everything, and then I'm going to take a break, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes with a new set of legendaries which we're going to add to the list. But let's move on. Sacrificial Sword. When you right click, it reduces you to half a heart and clears your inventory. But gives the user regenerate or gives players around the user regeneration 1 for 30 seconds. It's basically the same as what's it called? Ipsy's Folly, except it's only one use. It clears your inventory and it reduces you to half a heart. And the healing's a lot slower. So, where Ipsy's Folly would be here, Sacrificial Sword is basically useless. It just takes so much effort to use. And there's just no reason. There's no reason. You just don't use this legendary. It's like next to Zombie Smacker, this is probably the worst legendary. You just don't use it. That's the thing. You just don't use it. Okay. On to our last two. We have Earthshaker. Causes zombies in the area to be knocked back a random distance between 5 and 20 blocks when left click on the ground at the cost of 50 Dura. So you use this effect 3 or 4 times and it knocks away a bunch of zombies. And because it knocks zombies high enough, or pigmen, it might deal enough fall damage to kill them. So, very useful in wave rooms. And considering it is an axe, you do have that extra use. So it belongs in good. Not very good. It's good. For wave rooms, specifically. But if you're not in a wave room, it's useless. And finally, we have our last legendary for the first part of the stream. We have Zombie Head. This reduces your XP bar by 2 mini bars. So that's not the biggest deal in the world. But you know, if you're crouching around spawn towns and you don't want to encounter any zombies, if you crouch, you're basically invisible to zombies. Zombies can't hurt you. So, in reality, it is actually really good for dungeons. I would say it's definitely very good. Maybe even ridiculous. Because there are just so many dungeons where you can make use of this. Actually, you know what? No, it belongs in ridiculous. It's a good legendary. Because yeah, zombies, wave rooms, this can help you out a huge amount. And you would basically have to be moving the zombie from the block it's standing on by touching it in order to get it to notice you with a zombie head on. So yeah. That concludes the first part of this list, I suppose. Join back in 10 minutes time and we will continue with the legendary bows and armor. And the potions, maybe. Yes, and the potions. So stay tuned because that will be coming soon. So, thank you for watching up until this point. This isn't the end of the stream, though. So, yeah, be back in 10 minutes, losers. We'll be back. See you till then. Hello. We are back. And, there's a lot more legendaries to cover. That many. So, to give a rundown of what happened, we noticed activate windows. We did all of these legendaries, and we're about halfway through now. So, in the next hour or so, we will have gone through every single legendary. So, I basically just spent the break warming up my voice and writing down all of these so we can get started straight away. Binding Bow. Gives the player shot slowness 3 for 5 seconds. That will slow them down by 60% for 5 seconds. So if you can slow them down for that long, that will basically mean that they will not have much time to run from you. And then you hit them again and again, and they just can't escape. So for that, I'm going to say, since it doesn't actually use up an increasing amount of arrows, I'm actually going to put the Binding Bow as a ridiculous legendary. Because, you know, you just need to shoot someone once, and then it's over. And it's also really farmable as well. You can get everyone in your group a Binding Bow. And then that will, you know, be enough. You can just chase them down from that point. Next legendary. Shot Bow. Shoots a volley of 7 arrows at full charge at the cost of 3 durability and 7 arrows. So, the thing about Shot Bow is that only one of those arrows is a critical arrow. And this is, not a power bow. So it deals the regular damage of a bow. But it shoots a bunch of extra arrows, and it costs more arrows as well. Now that's not that good. It's average, because you can't use it in PvP, because it doesn't... Oh, pardon me. It doesn't do enough damage. However, it does have a bit of a use in dungeons, because you can spray a bunch of arrows and, you know, shoot stuff. And if you have a bunch of arrows on you, then you can keep doing that. Whereas if you have a few grenades, then they'll run out eventually. Although, come to think of it, grenades are actually probably better. So I'll actually put Shot Bow at bad. I'm not talking about the server, by the way. I'm talking about the legendary. Void Bow deals no damage but removes status effects. This is good in dungeons. You can remove the Wither from Shrine of the Dusk. You can remove Hunger, and it doesn't deal damage, I think. So overall, it's a good legendary. And also, you can shoot it on teammates if your friend gets hit by someone else's legendary. So, oh, and you can remove someone's sugar or speed. So yeah, very good. Agni's Fury. Now, the problem is that the only thing that Agni's Fury actually does, besides being flashy and striking lightning, the arrow, if that damages you, then the lightning will not damage you. However, if the arrow does not hit you, the lightning will still deal a bit of damage to you. I do believe it's true damage, but it does require 3 arrows and full charge. The main reason you would want to use an Agni's Fury is for the knockup, because if you shoot it on yourself, it will knock you up into the sky, and you can't bow boost anymore. so you can use it for bow boosting. So I would say it's an average legendary. It's worse than a power bow for PvP, but it has other uses. Although, you know, actually come to think of it, now that Rabbit's Feet exists, that does kind of make it obs. Who cares? I'll just put it at average. It's fine. Slow bow, basically a binding bow but worse. It gives the same slowness, but only for oh, I just realized I'm missing a legendary. I'm missing Spray Painter. But the slow bow only does 2 seconds, although it's the same slowness. So it's automatically worse than binding bow. Now the thing is, do those 3 seconds actually matter? And I say yes, they do a lot, because what you can do is you can shoot someone with a binding bow, and it will slow them down for 5 seconds, and when you get to the 4 seconds, when it's about to run out, and it's got 1 second of slowness left, you shoot them again and reset the slowness. Whereas with slow bow, you would have to keep firing at them constantly in order to keep the slowness. So it's good, but not nearly as good as binding bow, by a massive margin. Spray Painter shoots an explosive wall block which detonates for 3 hearts of damage. This is true damage at the cost of 3 arrows. So I think that it's like a flash grenade. When you throw a flash grenade, it takes the same time for a Spray Painter wall block to activate. 3 damage is a lot though. That's the same as a grenade, so it's basically infinite grenades at the cost of 3 arrows. So that was actually quite good. Obviously it doesn't fly as far as a regular bow or a grenade, because it shoots a projectile, so it's a bit weird. But if it went further, then it would definitely be a very good. But it goes in B for good. Helmet of Vision. It's an iron helmet full Dura. You can repair it, and for people who don't know how to turn up their gamma like myself because I'm a noob, it does come in handy. And also it's farmable as well. So, but the question is it as good as a previous one? Well, it's not bad, is it? Because you're comparing it to regular iron, aren't you? So, yeah. It goes in average. And while we're at it, let's do the same for MineZ Lamp. Oh, MineZ Lamp isn't there either. But MineZ Lamp is basically the exact same legendary. It's basically a helmet that works the same as Helmet of Vision, except it's been renamed. So, we have Simoon's Sonata, the Simoon's chestplate. It's an iron chestplate that gives the wearer speed 2 for 5 seconds on hit. And it gives the same toughness, I think. So that's actually quite good. Yeah, that's definitely above average. It goes in good. But if you've used sugar, I don't know if it muddles with your current speed, is the thing. And the speed lasts for 5 seconds. So, I suppose it's good if your teammates are boosting you. But it's not very good, if you know what I mean. Dentral's Terror, let's see. Has a chance to give the attacker Poison 1 and Nausea 3. Or Nausea 2 for 3 seconds. This isn't another one of the legendary iron chestplates. Now the thing is, I don't know if this actually gives the same protection as a regular iron chestplate. I think it does. I don't think the old version of it does, but I think the new one does. Um, if it does, then it's very good. But if it doesn't, then yeah, Sonata gives speed 1. But Dentral's Terror, I don't know if it gives you armor value, because if it gives you armor value, then it's very good. But if it doesn't, then it's very bad. Maybe even useless. I think, under the assumption that it's gives armor, I'm gonna do very good. And I'm gonna just skip to, where is it? Where's Agni's? Agni's Wrath, the chest plate. This is basically the same as Dentral's Terror, except it gives fire. Now you need to remember that fire not only does damage, but it also obscures your view. And that can really detriment someone if they don't have a PvP texture pack. So, under the same assumption, Agni's Wrath is ridiculous. Simoon's Tune. This gives you jump boost 3 and speed 3 for 30 seconds. So, you're immediately able to out-jump Rabbit's feet, and you're immediately able to outspeed a speed 2 spawn potion. That is just utterly ridiculously insane. You're basically able to chase down anyone, and they cannot do anything about it. Even if they have a speed 2, they can't outrun you. Because this gives you 60% bonus movement speed. And it gives you the jump boost. So it's harder for your opponent to hit you. And you get the crits from jumping. This thing's so good. So good. It's just a shame. Because not many people use Simoon's Tune. But it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's also good in dungeons as well. So, you know. It instantly kills plus on Theorem Tower. Yikes. Alright, Heal Bow. A good dungeon item. Deals no damage but restores 4 hearts to the player shot at the cost of 2 arrows. You're basically giving someone a speed 2 for 2 arrows. Or not a speed 2, drink 2. Heal Bow is very good. Might even be ridiculous. Because if you're taking if you're taking 3 or is it 2 stacks of arrows, then you are gaining 15 drink 2s. And this thing has 384 uses. So if you have the number of arrows for each use, then you will get the equivalent . How long ago was my microphone muted? I did this earlier. I actually did this earlier. When did I mute my mic? Bruh. Yeah, like when though? Just a second ago? Anyway. Spike throw goes in bad. Because it's like shot bow but worse, and it doesn't have power. Zombie bow is a lot better than people think. Because they made it so it's not as usable in dungeons anymore. But if you take it north, and you shoot a zombie bow at night, then you might just spawn a pigman on someone. And because zombies were buffed to do basically the damage of a diamond sword up north, if you can get lucky with your zombie bow, you can deal a decent amount of damage. So, I say that for the PvP factor alone, zombie bow belongs in good. But I don't think it belongs higher. Because its PvP use is very limited. You can only really use it up north, beyond the pigman border. And also when people have speed, it's not as good. So... I might be putting it too high, but I do think the zombie bow is quite good. We've got Pluvia's Rain. What does this do? This is the bow, isn't it? Gives the player shot Hunger 5 for 5 seconds at full charge at the cost of 3 arrows. Hunger 5? Hunger 5? How much hunger does Hunger 5 remove? Oh, well, of course it didn't say. But I'm sure it slows you, or I'm sure that it does a lot. Let's see. But it lasts for 5 seconds, and I'm pretty sure hunger reduces your speed by like a lot. So hunger appears to remove in hard mode, because MineZ's in hard mode, the difficulty counts as 3? Because 0 is peaceful, 1's easy, 2's medium, and 3's hard. So you are losing... I'm just working out the math. 1 hunger every 25 seconds with hunger 1. So in 5 seconds of hunger 5. Wait, that can't be right. Maybe I did the maths wrong, but I think you lose all your saturation and also like 3 hunger bars. Which, if you manage to shoot people twice, that's enough to cripple them, because once their saturation's gone, they're going to lose more health because of the hunger, and they're forced to eat. They're not only slowed down, but they're forced to eat, which uses their food And if they don't have food, they're screwed. It's unlike binding bow where they can recover from it. If you shoot someone with a binding bow, there is a chance they can get out of the arrow shot. But if you hit someone with a Pluvius Rain and they don't have food, they're just screwed. So for that, I'm going to put Pluvius Rain in ridiculous. Blunderbuss. Just look. How do I stress how good Blunderbuss is? I know how I stress how good Blunderbuss is. There we go. Blunderbuss is by far the best legendary in the entire game. By far. It's not even close. Blunderbuss shoots 4 grenades at the cost of 5 arrows when fully charged. When you get close to a player and you shoot a blunderbuss, they die instantly. No matter what, even if they're full iron, even if they're full health, they die instantly from blunderbuss. It's just dumb. It's just the best legendary in the game. There's just no other way to explain it. It deals more damage than power bows because it's true damage. It deals 3 true damage times 4. That's 12 true damage. Or 12 hearts of true damage. That's enough to kill a player plus 2 hearts extra. So if they have saturation or absorption from eating a gapple, it still kills them. You just don't. You cannot survive a blunderbuss from close range. And I have a feeling Navarre has been playing too much Sea of Thieves, because in Sea of Thieves, if you use a blunderbuss up close, that one-shots someone as well. So, it's just, yeah, I can't stress how good this legendary is. And it's good in dungeons as well. You can clear away from him with one shot. It's just so good. Anyway, binding helmet. It's an iron helmet, but when you get hit, it gives the attacker slowness 1 for 3 seconds. So that is not too impactful, but it is very good. Like, giving someone slowness, it reduces them. It gives them slowness 1, which reduces their health by 20%. But it only really works if the person is attacking you. So it only really works if you're being chased. Or if someone fights you and then they turn away. So it's not as good as you think. It's also bad because when you're wearing it, if someone tries to boost you, then you know, it doesn't work because they get slowed and they can't boost you anymore. But since that's there, I might as well get Gorgon's Gaze, since that's exactly the same, except it's a chain helmet. So it has the same armor. It basically is just the same legendary. Then we've got Theorem's Power. Is that the bow? Oh, that's the bow. This is a stinker. This is not a good legendary. If you think that Theorem's is a very good legendary, Theorem's Power is at the very best a bad legendary, because it costs 3 arrows, so you have to hit the shot, and a Theorem's Sword basically deals the same armor damage as a Theorem's Power does in 1 hit. So it's basically made completely obsolete, And there's no reason why you would use it over a power 2. In fact, it might even be very bad. It's not useless, because if you don't have a theorems, then it helps to destroy armor, but it's definitely not nearly as good. Oni Mask is a chain helmet that reduces damage from iron swords, or diamond swords I mean. And since we're in the diamond sword meta, where diamond swords are really good, I don't know if it reduces the damage taken by a diamond sword to less than the damage you take from an iron sword, because if so, then it would be ridiculous by a mile. But even if it reduces the iron sword damage to the same damage, or if it makes diamond sword damage the same as an iron sword, it's still ridiculous. So Oni Mask is belonging in ridiculous. Thorned Crown. It's a leather cap with thorns. 3. It's not actually that good, unless you're in a dungeon. But it's a leather cap, so it breaks easily. It's just... It's not useless. It's just kind of bad. Maybe it's bad, because, you know, it might help to have the damage that you deal back from the thorns. Oof, the Therems legendaries do kind of suck, don't they? Yeah, there's no reason to not have Oni Mask. Theorem's Might is an iron chestplate, except whenever you're hit, you gain resistance 1 for 5 seconds, which reduces 20% of the damage you take, which is a decent amount, except for the fact that it breaks 10 durability every hit. So you need to hit the chestplate 24 times, and it will break. And that will likely happen in most fights that contain more than one person you're fighting against. So even though the resistance is quite good, it's just not a legendary you would take out. You just leave it in deep storage, really, because it just breaks so easily. So yeah, very bad. Agni's Ire, it's basically a potion that just makes you blind, but you one-shot zombies. I'm not sure if it works on giants, because if it works on giants, it would be very good. Or not very good, but good. But I don't know if it does, so it's at least... It's bad. It's bad. Because even though you one-shot zombies, you would just bring a sword to a dungeon or something, wouldn't you? Like, why would you need to drink it? I suppose if you use an axe and do the AoE, then you can one-shot a load of zombies really quickly. But I still don't think it's that good. It's not very bad. It's not worse than stuff like Theorem's Might and stuff. It does have use. But yeah, it's not that good. Plivia's Hail. We're gonna need to compare this one to a Drink 2, because this gives you regen 2 for 2 seconds, or regen 5 for 2 seconds, which restores 6.5 hearts, and restores 2 hunger bars, and sets your thirst bar to full. So it's immediately better than a drink, or a drink 2. But not by much. You heal more, and you get food. So it can be quite practical to use, but you don't get saturation, you only get the hunger points. So it belongs in good. Quiet. Why the hell would you use this? Except to scare Cyclone. You would not use this for any reason. Unless it was to scare Cyclone. It belongs in useless. Truth bow, it shows health. It's like a bow, but it shows health. If you wanted to check health, just run up to someone with shears if you're quick enough and just swing back to your sword. Or you can just keep track of how many hits you get on someone and how many times someone chugs, someone splashes. It's not that hard, man. There's no reason to use it. It's useless. Like, if you're in a dungeon, you could argue you might use it in a dungeon. Just don't use it in a dungeon. You just use... Just use a you know, shears. Anyway. Dentral's Dread. That should be the Dentral Potion. Gives the wearer invisibility 3 and weakness 3 for 30 seconds. I don't know if that hides you from zombies. Oh, it does. It does hide you from zombies. But you need to be wearing no armor, of course, because anyone's going to see you. I don't know if it shows particles, but if you don't have any arrows in you, then it can be good to escape from situations. But obviously it's not as good as something like Zombie Head for its use. It allows you to escape from a tricky PvP situation if you don't want to fight someone, and you know you're running from them. You haven't even gotten into a fight. You just take off all your armor, clear your hotbar, drink a Dentral's Dread, and they might think you've gone out of render. So yeah, I guess it's average. Simon's Melody is the bow. Now this is like the Simon song, but a bow. And honestly, I think it's just as useful. Because if someone's next to a canyon, then, like, even if they're running away from you and you've not got any close ground to them, you still have a chance to knock them off to their doom. And also you can, of course, use it to knock someone, like a Simon song, so it's good for chasing. So that belongs in good. Dentral's Fright. It kind of has the same problem as the Theorem's Bow, in that it does exactly the same as the Theorem's Strength did, you know? It does the same effect as the Dentral's Fear. Except in this case... no, it's still trash. It's not as bad. It's not got as much of a spike as the Theorem stuff go, because the spike from really good to really bad is quite big for the Theorem's bow, but not so much for the Dentrals because of the poison tip slowing people. So it's good for chasing, whereas Theorem's is just completely useless. Except it's not useless, but you know what I mean. We've been going on this live stream for 2 hours. Gosh, I have no life. This is my punishment for not uploading. But, I mean, this is still a cool thing to do. Anyway, Rocksteady. This is like a binding bow. It gives someone resistance 3 and slowness 4, or resistance 3 and slowness 3 for 4 seconds. So it's like binding bow, except it's more useful. Obviously, if you don't have a binding bow, you can use Rocksteady to slow someone down. But since resistance 3 gives 60% damage reduction, it becomes harder to kill them if you actually catch up to them. So it's not as good in that regard. That would probably put it in very good. But it makes up for it because, it makes up for it in that the resistance can be used on your allies if they are taking hits. And you can use them as a tank. So they can tank hits for you while you run to them to save them from people who are attacking them. And you can use it in dungeons, shoot your friends, and they won't die to, like, pigmen or whatever. So Rocksteady goes in ridiculous. With a shot. That's basically a bow, except it doesn't deal damage. And it gives Wither very briefly. Let's see how long. Wither 2 for 2 seconds. Oh, and it's unaffected by gravity, but it moves really slow. So, it's a nice, cool legendary, but Wither 2 for 2 seconds is not enough to do anything. So, honestly, well, it's not useless, because you still get the Wither. It's on the same level as Dentral's Fright, I'd say. Maybe slightly worse. It's borderline useless. It's like, I said something earlier was borderline useless. Wither Shot is also borderline useless. It's just a cool novelty legendary. Ninja Sandals, you're getting chain boots, but it gives speed 2 for 5 seconds. So it's like Simoon's Sonata, except it gives speed 2, but you're sacrificing half an armor point, which I don't think is that big of a deal, to be honest. I would be able to let that slide, and I would be able to put Ninja Sandals in very good. Because the difference between speed 2 and speed 1 does kind of mean a lot. So I'm going to put it there. I think it deserves it. So next legendary, we're on our last row. Let's go Pluvius Tempest. That is the chest plate, I think. Yep. So it has a small chance to restore half a heart to the wearer when the chest plate takes damage. So that can be from a zombie, from a bow shot, from a sword hit, anything. Just not like sheer hits. It has to deal durability damage. But it restores half a heart, and it still gives regular chestplate dura. So, you know, I might actually move that up. Because, you know. But it's a chance. It's not guaranteed. That's why I moved Sonata up, because it's guaranteed to give you speed. But I don't know if you can say it's as good as Agni's Realm. I'd say it's very good because it allows you to tank a few more hits. Yeah, we'll put it there. Theorem's Power, that is the drink potion, and it basically does the effects of Rocksteady for 30 seconds. Very good in dungeons. Because it gives you resistance 3 and sonus 3. You can tank a lot of damage from dungeons and, you know, I'd say it's good. I don't say it's very good. I say it's good. Because, you know, it's not as versatile as Rocksteady. Venom Bow is a weird one. Because it's hard to say how good Venom Bow is at its job. Ooh, actually, let's do Grey Bow first, because Grey Bow is basically the exact same as a Void Bow, so let's put it there. Wait, did I put 2 binding helmets in? I did! I put 2 binding... I'm asleep today, man. Bro. Hold on a minute. Wait, did I miss another helmet? Are you kidding me? Am I dumb? Maybe that's what I'm... Oh, yeah, that's what I meant to do. Wait. Yeah. I meant to put in MineZ helmet, but I forgot. That's why. Anyway. we've got our last two legendaries. We've got Venom Bow, we've got Rubber Shield. Rubber Shield is ooh, the music just stopped. Rubber Shield. Wait, actually, do we want to? No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll go on with Rubber Shield. Rubber Shield reduces the amount of damage you take from a bow shot. But it increases the amount of damage you take from a sword. Or no, it's the other way around, I think. Or is it? I'll look it up. Less damage from arrows, but more damage from sword. So, yeah, if you're running from someone, that kind of matters. Because, you know, some bows, like, you know, power 2s, will deal a lot of damage to you. So everything helps. And then if you quickly swap out, then you can protect yourself from the sword hits. So Rubber Shield is good. And finally, Venom Bow. This one gives Poison 1, so you don't get poisoned very much. Nausea 2, and Speed 2 for 4 seconds, at the cost of 3 arrows. So, if you shoot someone with it, you give them speed at the cost of poison. So,
Nice.
say hello to my brother.
Hello.
Yeah, he's just stream sniped me. Anyway, Venom Bow, because it gives the poison, that does slow you down just a little bit. But speed 2 makes up for it because it's a 40% movement speed boost. So since it's 4 seconds, you can shoot your friend, hope that they don't get slowed down too bad by the poison tick, and you know, they can run. And also it bow boosts them, and it doesn't deal damage, so it's a good getaway legendary. That is it, actually. Oh, and of course we've gotta do the final thing. How could I forget? Let's just there we go. Perfect. Well, that is it for the tier list of all the legendaries in MineZ. I've probably angered a lot of people today. Now, I'm not perfect, so this is from my point of view. This isn't concrete 100%. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on stuff like the Robber's Blade, but this is entirely my opinion. If you agree with me, then I'm glad you enjoyed. I'm glad you could bear the 2 hours of watching this live stream. And if you didn't agree with me, well, let me know, because I am like the legendary man for the wiki team. So if you think I'm wrong, then I would like to hear what you have to say, because I'm quite interested in hearing the community like discuss which legendaries are good, which legendaries are not, because I enjoy using legendaries. I think they're really cool. That's why I made this stream in the first place, actually. And speaking of legendaries, my next video, after the one which should have come out on Sunday, that one will probably come out later this week, will be a custom legendary video. So, yeah. You know, actually, yeah, Corsair's Edge. Oh, I'll move Corsair's Edge up. Yeah, you're right. Because I've got only Mask here, it's only fair. and we are in the D-sword meta, so it makes sense. Alright, yeah, so that's it. Custom legendary video will be coming soon after my next lore video. But yeah, that is it for the stream. I hope you enjoyed watching. And if you enjoy this kind of stuff, I do recommend subscribing, because I have decided that this is what I want to do for the YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing both lore-related videos and just gameplay-related commentary videos. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will hope to see you again in future. Farewell, and thank you for watching.